And here's a look at the new MGM National Harbor, situated right next to the Potomac River here in Lower Maryland, right across the river from Washington, D.C. You've heard the crowd chanting Usyk, Usyk, Usyk. Now get ready to listen to them chant Gvozdyk, 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 as Oleksandr Gvozdyk gets ready to come into the ring for his light heavyweight showdown against Yunieski Gonzalez. You can see that Gvozdyk is 2 years younger, 2.5 inches taller, has a 1.5-inch arm length advantage measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. And they both weighed in within a pound of the 175-pound limit, and they both rehydrated up to the same weight tonight. And that's a very normal dehydration. Both guys putting on 10 pounds overnight. Once again, it underlines how unusual it was that Michael Hunter weighed 198 yesterday and came to the ring at 197.5. Let's go back up to Michael Buffer now for the official introductions.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM National Harbor, the action continues. This contest presented by Top Rank Incorporated in association with Joe LaGuardia's All-Star Boxing. Sponsored by Kidder Sports, Tecate, Born Bold, and the MGM National Harbor. Sanctioned by the Maryland State Athletic Commission. The 3 judges assigned to ringside: David Braslow, Lynn Carter, and John Gradowski. And in charge of the action at the bell, referee Harvey Dock. And now, 10 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division. On the line, the NABF and vacant NABO light heavyweight championships. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue with gold, official weight 174.8 pounds. His professional record, an excellent one, consisting of 18 victories, including 14 wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. Originally from Pinar del Rio, Cuba, but now living, training, and fighting out of Miami, Florida, USA. He is Yunieski, the Monster Gonzalez. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with silver, official weight 174.2 pounds. His record, a perfect one. 12 fights, 12 victories, including 10 wins by knockout. From Kharkiv, Ukraine, the undefeated NABF light heavyweight champion, Oleksandr "The Nail" Gvozdyk.
Hold on, guys. They don't have the scorecards. Hang on. Relax.
Referee Harvey Dock is now supervising a process by which the ringside judges are trying to come up with scorecards so they can properly mark scores for the fight. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, this is the first time that HBO Sports has ever covered boxing matches in Maryland. We've been doing it since the late 1970s, so it's almost 40 years of boxing on HBO, and we've never been here before.
Guys, we received the instructions earlier.
Harvey Dock is a veteran New York referee.
Protect yourself at all times. Touch your gloves. Took a little once. Run this way.
This is considered the most evenly matched fight of the night.
Hey, Pat, you want me to start it?
And Yunieski Gonzalez, who was unbeaten until a year and a half ago, now has a lot to try to prove as he suffered 2 losses in a row. The first of them, a decision loss to Jean Pascal in Las Vegas with which almost no one other than the judges agreed. It just appeared to be one of those simply terrible decisions because almost all other ringside critics believed that Gonzalez had dominated Pascal with his overhand right that he landed all night long. The question here, can he land that overhand right against Gvozdyk, who has a very good long jab?
not only a very good long jab, Jim, but he had very good foot movement. And I'm seeing if Oleksandr can go ahead, Gonzalez, can go ahead and try to cut him off if he can, which he should early, to try to establish that he's going to be on him every round that goes. So, you know, I like to see him do that now and not wait, because if he wait, then he will have to play catch up later.
Should this be full-scale trench warfare for Yunieski Gonzalez?
I think so. I think he should just come out guns blazing, hitting the pressure, and also trying to, you know, establish, as he just threw a left and a right over the top right, to try to establish that he's here to win. So he must establish this now. The first 3 rounds is crucial on the dictator of the pace of this fight.
You saw Harvey Dock immediately warning Yunieski Gonzalez about hitting Gvozdyk on the back of the head, and that may be a factor in the fight. Whether Dock allows Gonzalez to throw his right hand over the top and land it when sometimes it is likely to make contact on the back of the head.
Gonzalez can't be distracted by the referee. He must throw the punch as he sees it, because if he don't, then he will take away one of his biggest weapons, I think. Gonzalez must continue to throw that overhand right, and every now and then drop it down to the rib cage, and then he will at least slow his guy up to be able to go ahead and get the overhand right over. But he must continue to throw what works for him.
Well, let's put it this way, Bernard. If he can't throw the overhand right, he has come to a gunfight with knives.
If he can't throw the overhand right, then he'll be running and trying to figure out how to get away from those quick jabs and the quick feet, which is important in this fight if he don't want to get, you know, bewildered or waiting to look for one big punch.
And so Gvozdyk has already shown you what he does. Jab and move, jab and move.
Gvozdyk from the outside, you see, has the advantage. And Gonzalez wants to get inside, but there's a danger zone coming in, because that middle distance, Gvozdyk is also very dangerous. So you got to get through Gvozdyk's offense in order to get inside. And Gvozdyk's also shown against Muhammadi and others that if you try to negotiate that distance and aren't very careful, he can knock you out.
And Gvozdyk has good combinations, just do a 4-punch combination, and you know Gonzalez can't compete with that. That's not his style. That's not, he fires from his position. This is what he does. He throws punches and he throws overhand rights a lot.
Right. Gonzalez told us yesterday he needs to brawl, but intelligently brawl.
Good little flurry there by Yunieski Gonzalez, who got off the 4-punch combination. Now Gvozdyk comes back and lands a solid left hook. Good first round.
Have a seat. There you go. How you feel? Okay. Interesting round. Keep moving. We'll keep that stiff jab. Okay. Don't give him the short distance to punch you with those hooks. Okay. That's a good round. Beginning. At the end, you lost your balance and he just kind of jumped on top of you, but you did very good at holding. Go back to the jab. Back to jab. When he's like this, throw your combinations. Okay. Put it together. Very good. Nice round. How's his power? No good. Good.
Got to work it with the jab and move. Jab and move. Don't go brawl, all right? And don't just go for that right hand. Switch it up. Think. How you feeling? Good? All right, think. Switch it up and change.
Yunieski Gonzalez was trained and conditioned for this fight by former Cuban amateur coach Pedro Diaz, whom we've seen with other fighters in the past, but Diaz had another assignment tonight with other fighters elsewhere. So Yorcanes de España is the man who will be the leader in the corner of Yunieski Gonzalez, and he has not been in that position with Gonzalez before. Does that kind of thing matter, Bernard?
It all depends. I mean, because Gonzalez been in there, he's not new to this, and you know he needs to go ahead and throw more than one jab because he's going to get countered if he don't. But no, I don't think it's going to be a big factor. I think he's been there, done that. He has some fights where he got experience, and I don't think this is going to be anything different. But he can't be one and done here. He got to be more than one. He got to throw 4 punches. He got to set it up first and be first at all times in this fight. He will not outbox. He will not outbox him.
You know, Gonzalez missed with a whistling right hand right around in this area of the ring in the first round, guys. And Karpency knocked Gvozdyk down with a kind of shot from a middle distance that Gvozdyk didn't see. That was the kind of shot Gonzalez came pretty close to landing that could do real damage in that first round.
But Karpency knocked Gvozdyk down with a hook from the southpaw stance. He was a southpaw who knocked Gvozdyk down with the right hand.
Yep.
And that's a harder punch to see.
No
and
question.
The kinds of punches that Yunieski Gonzalez throws, a lot of them from long distance.
Gvozdyk, when he spins out of that left, he's up tall.
Yep.
And he's always vulnerable to get hit with that.
With the right hand, which is
Overhand
why
right,
Gonzalez came close to landing it.
He goes right to the right hand because he goes to his left. And anybody that throws it, especially Gonzalez, throw it the way he throws that right hand, he's going to catch him.
The overhand right especially useful against a taller opponent.
Gvozdyk got in an excellent quick uppercut to sew up a combination about 20 seconds ago, face-to-face with Gonzalez. And already he's shown that his hand skills and hand speed could give Gonzalez a lot of trouble as the fight goes on.
That's why Gonzalez has to beat the body. He has to go to the body, invest in the body to take those legs out, because he cannot win a boxing match. As we see, cannot win a boxing match here.
Terrific right hand there, set up in combination by Gvozdyk. His hands are accelerating here in round 2 as he's gotten a look at the way Yunieski Gonzalez fights.
Especially if Gonzalez continues to stay out 3 feet away from Gvozdyk. He has to get closer, he has to take that reach away, and he has to bang the body when he's punching.
You do get the impression that if Gvozdyk is out there where Yunieski can't breathe on him, Gonzalez is at his mercy because of the hand speed difference.
Gvozdyk throws straighter and shorter shots. And so they land more accurately and with more force.
But Gonzalez got more power in his shots, I believe.
Great first couple of rounds by Gvozdyk. Still to come, Vasily Lomachenko, that man right there, sitting in his dressing room and watching on the TV as his stablemate and training mate, Gvozdyk, goes after this victory against Gonzalez. And the opponent, Jason Sosa, a tough street kid from Camden, New Jersey, who took up boxing at age 21 because he was tired of the heat in the pizza kitchen. He was cooking pizzas 12 to 14 hours a day, and he thought almost anything would be better than this, and went to the gym to become a boxer. And in only 8 years has gotten to this point.
He couldn't stand the heat, so he got out of the kitchen.
That's exactly
but
right.
Into an even hotter one tonight, maybe.
Second jab. Second jab.
Jabs through round 3, or through round 2, I should say, going into round 3. Gvozdyk has landed 32 jabs out of 110 thrown. Gonzalez 8 out of 50.
Gonzalez needs to close the gap quickly, not stand out to get hit with 3 or 4 punch combinations. If he continues to do this, then it'll be a boxing lesson he will receive.
And in this 10-round fight, we go to Harold Letterman here in the 3rd round for his unofficial score. Harold?
Okay, Jim, I got a 20-18, 2 rounds to nothing. Oleksandr Gvozdyk. You know, Jim, he's boxing a beautiful fight. I got to tell you, left jabs, right hands, combinations. He changes direction, moves both ways, not getting hit, and he's just out boxing Gonzalez in this fight. 2-0, Oleksandr Gvozdyk.
While Harold was speaking, Gonzalez got in a left hook to the body that might have been his best punch so far.
We talk about fighters with chins, and I'll mention from time to time, the fighters with the good chins are the ones who don't get hit on the chin. And Bernard brought up, Gvozdyk comes out sometimes standing straight up and is susceptible to right hands.
And he is. But right now he don't pay the price because Gonzalez is not throwing punches because
Down goes Gonzalez, and that's a knockdown for Gvozdyk. And Gonzalez nods his head. Veteran of the Cuban amateur program, been in boxing all his life. He knew.
That's the danger for Gonzalez. To get inside, you have to go through that middle distance where Gvozdyk is very effective.
And Gvozdyk is sharper, quicker, and his punches coming really, really sharp.
This is it, folks.
This is a potential signature performance for Oleksandr Gvozdyk, who's having it all his way against Yunieski Gonzalez. Some people thought that Gonzalez would be too strong and too big a hitter for Gvozdyk. Right now, Gvozdyk is wiping the canvas with him. That was not a knockdown.
Gonzalez has no legs, he's cut, his nose bleeding, and you know, it's just matter of time right now.
Fight's over, guys.
Well, you gotta let his hands go more, Max. Because if you don't let his hands go more, Gonzalez is gonna grab him and hold him. But he has to right now let his hands go good. Lord, let him go fast from top to bottom.
If Gonzalez gets out of this round, it's a miracle.
He is a determined, self-confident fighter, but he has been swamped by Gvozdyk's hand speed.
And his accuracy and the shortness and straightness of Gvozdyk's shots. Look,
A left hand will end this fight.
Yeah,
A left hand will end this fight.
I don't know why the fight's still going on. He has no coordination, no balance.
But he has heart.
Yep.
He has heart.
But it's early in the fight, and he's taking a savage beating this round. I don't know why it needs to end with him unconscious. I think Harvey Dock ought to think about stopping this.
He's already so far behind on the scorecards. It's hard to imagine him coming back.
Guys,
this guy hit. This fight is over.
Yeah. It's enough.
And the corner is stepping up onto the apron and saying to Harvey Dock, we don't need any more of this. We can see the outcome. And what a tremendous performance by Gvozdyk.
And yes, it was. And it reminded me a lot of the Muhammadi performance. If you're a fighter who's trying to get inside on Gvozdyk, boy, you better be careful how you go about doing that. Because you have to go through a whole lot to get in there.
If you're not going to get inside, how can you beat him with all that speed and maneuverability from the outside?
Right, you got to get in. You just got to figure out how to do it.
You have to figure it out, and you have to have a lot of heart and a lot of skill to get in there. Because if you just walk in there, you'll see what happened to Gonzalez.
I'm not surprised that Gvozdyk won. I'm shocked at the way he won.
Exactly. I'm shocked too because I knew this fight was going to be tough, but I didn't know it was going to be that one-sided.
Oleksandr Gvozdyk got a TKO over Isaac Chilemba in his last performance on the undercard of the first Ward Kovalev fight. Chilemba's not an easy guy to put away, but he was able to do it. Now he has another feather in his cap.
He has another big feather in his cap because Gonzalez is not an easy guy to knock out.
But let's take a look at the first knockdown coming up as Yunieski Gonzalez tries to figure out what hit him.
It comes from the jab. It comes from the jab. The jab set it all up, and then the combinations after the jab. And after he realized he had Gonzalez hurt, he finished him. And that's what most young fighters or fighters at a stage where they're ready to take the big step finish to do. But he done it, and he continued to keep throwing punches to end the fight. Gonzalez was so tough, he hung in there as long as I was shocked he lasted that long to hang in there. But eventually, he was going to get hit with one of those punches that was coming. The right hand off the jab really didn't land, but the right hand, because Gonzalez is now hanging in the wind. He's not reacting. He's fighting off of instincts right now, and that's when you get either real hurt or knocked out. So this is an opportunity now for people to take a look at what they see in front of them right now, which is a big fight coming.
You saw in that previous picture that Gvozdyk had blood on the back of his head as he was going after Gonzalez. That blood had to have come from Gonzalez's nose and mouth.
Yeah, because both didn't get hit. He didn't get hit anytime. So that was the blood coming from Gonzalez's mouth that eventually got on the back of his head and all over the place.
All right. That brings Gvozdyk's record to 13-0, and standing in front of me now, Michael Buffer with the official particulars on the TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the National Harbor, the MGM National Harbor, this contest comes to an end as referee Harvey Dock calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 2 minutes, 55 seconds, round number 3. The winner, still undefeated from Kharkiv, Ukraine, now the unified NABF and NABO light heavyweight champion, Oleksandr "The Nail" Gvozdyk.
Great smile. The Nail really nailed Gonzalez in this fight. In the third round, Gvozdyk landed 50 of 66 power shots. One of the most impressive rounds we have recently seen. Let's take a look at the overall CompuBox numbers as Gvozdyk lands 90 more punches than does Gonzalez. 116 out of 256, 45%. Bound to be way over 50% in power punches. There you have it, 68%. No way he wasn't going to get a knockout, landing that kind of leather at that rate. 72 out of 106. I mean, you can go hit the heavy bag, and you might not be that accurate.
And the heavy bag might hit you back because that
That's unbelievable.
It's not going to get you there.
And 44 out of 150 jabs, 29%. That's another extraordinarily high percentage. That was an amazing display of ring skill by Oleksandr Gvozdyk.
And accuracy and poise for the fights that he had on his resume is really, really a fresh breath of air in this weight division to see that.
Max Kellerman stands by in the ring with Oleksandr Gvozdyk.
Congratulations, Alexander. A sensational performance. Gonzalez had 2 losses coming in, but one of them was a robbery. He beat Pascal and got robbed. And the other one was a majority decision loss to Shabransky, a tough, close fight. This turned out to be a mismatch. How did you do it?
I don't know. You know, my plan was to wait a little bit and start to be more active in the late rounds, but I saw this change. I catch him and I didn't let him go. So this just happened. I'm happy.
You seem to be at your best when your opponent is coming toward you, enabling you to get off your offense when they're on their way in. Why is that?
I don't know. You know, like I did a lot of work before this fight and I was ready for pressure and I was ready or moving or stay in front of him. So I just, when I felt that I am in danger, I was moving around him. When I started feeling that I can't stop him, I just stood in front of him.
Because we've seen boxers who can box well from a distance, but when the opponent is coming toward them, they're not throwing those punches with what Mike Tyson would call bad intentions.
Yes.
You're throwing your shots with bad intentions. Was the point here to get the knockout win?
Yeah, I start feeling the smell of blood, so I just did my job.
We've seen you on the deck from a right hand, though it was against a southpaw, and he seemed to want to catch you with his right hand, threw some whistling overhand rights. One in particular seemed to just miss you in the first round. What was your thought about taking away his right hand?
You know, I got a good lessons when I was fighting with Karpenzi, so I was working on it. I also watched a lot of Yunieski's fights, and I saw that his very best weapon is his wild right hand. So I was working on it on this mistake.
On the same card with your stablemate Usyk and also, of course, Lomachenko, the odds of having the most impressive performance of the night are not very high, and yet you may have just done it. Let's see what Lomachenko looks like. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm very, very honored to fight with all my friends and all these guys in the same card. I'm very happy. It reminds me our past times. So I want to say congratulations to my friend Alex with impression victory, and I hope I want to wish luck for my another friend Vasily Lomachenko. I hope it's gonna be a fight without surprise. So I wish him luck and win this fight.
Alexander, you're a light heavyweight. The top of the division, of course, is Kovalev and Ward, or Ward and Kovalev. We'll see after the rematch. Very close first fight. What is your plan in the immediate future? Do you think you're ready right now after that performance to challenge the very top of the 175-pound division?
Yeah, I feel that I'm ready, and I'm just waiting for opportunity when I get the chance to fight for the title. That doesn't matter against who. I wish Sergey Kovalev luck in his future fight. I hope he's gonna finish what he didn't finish in the last fight. So I'd not prefer to fight against Kovalev, but if it's gonna be necessary, I will.
You finished that fight so unexpectedly early. Let's see if Lomachenko's ready to go. Thank you, Alexander. Tremendous performance.